Hi guys, so welcome to the next part of To Do app in Vue.js. So let's get started. So let me open the project file in my Sublime text. So most probably I have coded all the parts, so I would explaining you step by step what I did. So in the project directory structure, you can see that there are two files, one with CSS and the second one with HTML. CSS files holds all our nitty-gritty stuff regarding styling of the web page. So apart from opening the project in my Sublime text, let me open it in the Chrome browser and let me walk you through what all functionality we have developed. So this all CSS, the background color, the layout of the text box, how the items are rendering. So these all stuffs is being defined in our CSS, which I'm not going to explain each and every line because I did long time back a tutorial about CSS. Go ahead and look into that tutorial. So this is the basic to do app where what the user does is he enters some text, and once he enters the text and press enter key from the keyboard, a new item is added at the bottom, and on the right hand side you can see that you have a close button. One click on the close button, it deletes the element, and automatically you will see that in our total to do it is reducing to 1 when it is deleting, and it is adding 1 count when it is adding a new item. So this is what the functionality is all about, and let's look into the code now. So this CSS file is being linked in our HTML file, which is link href main.css. So this is how the style sheet is being linked in our HTML file. So we have one div with the name I app because we have to create a top level parent element where all our HTML code goes. So this is how when the L keyword inside the new view object, we have it hash app. So you can watch my previous tutorial. I have explained how this data keyword is defined and how we should iterate over the arrays of item. And to iterate over arrays of item, we used v4 directory, and in v4 directory we have to do an index. This index is actually the index number of the array. So if it is iterating the first element, then the index would be 0. If it is iterating the second element, the index would be 1, and so on. Okay, so now that's fine. We are rendering it and we are able to show it in the UI. And these are the custom HTML markers which are making it as in styling. So the total one, we have a parent div in which it is separated into two divs. So one div is having width of 98% and the second div is having a ID width of 1%, and the margin left is 1%. So the total is 100%. Now to display a to do item, we are using v4, and this is our item which is defined under data key, and all our data should be defined in our data key, otherwise it would not recognize it. So in order to do it, since to do would be an object, so we have to iterate over each to do, and inside the to do we are accessing the title object, and this particular is known as filter. So to define a filter inside Vue.js, what we do, we use view.filter, the name of the filter, and the callback function of what it does. So what it is happening, to do title is a string, so it passes the string into the value parameter, and inside the value parameter we are changing it to uppercase. That is why if you are typing something which is small letter, so it is automatically converting into the caps, and this is how it is doing it, because for every to do we are adding a filter which is a uppercase, and to define a filter, this is the syntax. Now, okay, so we are rendering it, so everything is working fine. Now what is this methods and what is this computed? Now computed, you can think about a calculated column. So what it is happening inside the to do, if there is any change in the sense, if there is any item added inside the to do array, or if there is any item deleted from the to do array, so to do property is getting changed because we are targeting the length. So we don't need to call anything inside the computed. It will automatically calculate whenever there is a change in the to do. And how it is determining, like when the to do is changing, either by adding a new element or either by deleting a element from the to do, because we are here accessing the to do dot length, so it knows about to do, and inside to do, if there is change, automatically this function would be called, and that is why it is there inside the computed. This computed is a reserved keyword. Okay, so that is why if I see in the UI and if I type something, so you will see that I am not calling count anywhere. So if I press enter, so there would be a new item inserted into our to do data element, and it will automatically increment to 5. So you can see here that in our paragraph tag we are using total to do is count, right? So we are not calling anywhere, so it is automatically detecting when there is a change in to do, it will change the count of it. Okay, coming back to the last part. So now the last functionality is that if you are clicking on cross button, so it is deleting the element from the to do array. So how it is doing, in order to bind the keyword, in order to bind the event inside Vue.js, we use at the rate click, or there is another syntax that v dash on colon. So both the things can be used, but the short form is at the rate click. And inside at the rate click we have to define one function, and inside iterating over each to do element we are passing the index, so that is why we are passing here the unique id. And make sure that if you are defining any function, it should be under methods reserved keyword. So you can see here that we have one delete to do, so inside the methods we have delete to do. And now what we are doing, we are getting the index, because in v4 we are getting the index and we are passing it as a parameter, and we are splicing the array, and we are deleting the element from the particular index. Now this is the way how you delete an item inside the array of a specific index. Okay, so coming back how we are inserting a new item inside the to do array, it's very simple. Again we are defining one event which is key up, and we are passing one function add to do, and this should be available inside our methods keyword. And inside it we pass a parameter which is by default passed, which is known as event. And event dot key code is equal to 13. What does it mean? It checks when the enter key is being pressed. So its value of key code is 13 for enter. And event dot target dot value, what it is basically on which the event has been triggered. So if we type anything, so this is an input tag, this is where the event has been triggered. That is why we can have the access of property as event dot target dot value, and if it is not empty, if you put the if you have not entered anything in the text box, and once you press enter, nothing will happen. So this is just a validation that if the enter key is pressed and in the text box it is not having any value, then skip everything. So once we have the value inside the text box and the user has pressed the enter key, we are just iterating, we are just adding an element inside to do, and to access the to do we use this keyword, this dot to do. dot push. Push is a function which will insert the element inside to do array at the last index. And here we provide the property. Since our to do is an object, so that is why we are providing title here. And this is not necessary, you can delete it. And after that, once we are pushing the element, then we have to empty the text box, and this is how we are making the text box as empty. So this is what the whole code is all about. It's very simple. So I hope you would enjoy this tutorial and you learn something out of it. If you have any query, just let me know. I will revise this code and I may explain this code later also. So thank you everyone for watching this tutorial. Have a nice day. Bye.